What does Sony open with? What does Sony close with?
Oh, good
You
question.
want to go around the table?
No, let's just
I'll
group.
steal Dan Tax.
Sure.
He's which I think is a pretty good guess, is that they open with Bloodborne 2. They confirmed the strongest rumor right away.
Is that really the strongest rumor?
I think you want to like.
To me, it's the one, I don't know if it's like the biggest one that everyone but it's the one that I feel like everyone's the most confident about. If that makes sense.
And it's the one that makes like the most sense.
Yeah.
I'll put money on it not being there.
I think
Just
you
not
want
being
to
there at
hold
all.
off.
Yeah.
All right.
I think if it's there, they would close with it.
You
I think you want to hold off on like a big surprise.
They're
at
going
the
to close on The Last of Us, right?
No, I think they would
No.
open with The Last of Us.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking they open on The Last of Us, God of War shows up in the middle, and then Bloodborne at the end.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
I disagree with almost everything. I think people always, not that I'm a pessimist, I'm a little bit of a pessimist, but I'm trying to be realistic about this stuff. I think people set their sights way too high. I don't think.
That's fair.
I think they might
I mean,
throw
Pokemon
a.
Direct that we just talked
Exactly.
about. Right?
It's
Yeah.
exactly that situation. I think they might have a passing reference to Last of Us Part 2, but they have Lost Legacy, Uncharted. I bet they open with Lost Legacy set piece.
Mhm.
It's going to be impressive. Then they close with God of War.
But they didn't they have Last of Us last year?
That was
They
it.
closed PSX with.
Oh, that was
Correct.
PSX.
Yes, but that game is still so early, and they should be. It's nice to like get it out of the way, acknowledge that they're doing it,
excited.
dispel all rumors of like, oh, is it going to happen? Is it not? Get people excited, but it's still so early in development. And when they have Lost Legacy so close to being done, I don't think they'd want to split the focus any more than they already have between those two.
Makes
So
sense.
that's my prediction.
Maybe.
Microsoft, open close.
Scorpio.
Well, it sounds
right?
like Halo's not going to be there, right?
Yeah,
that's
Halo's not
strange,
gonna be
isn't
there.
it?
close with a teaser though.
Well, they said that Halo would be there in some capacity, but it would not be Halo 5. They said something would be during that presentation.
For sure, Forza running on Scorpio towards the middle.
yeah.
Would they want to get out of the gate with
I think-
just like, here is the Scorpion?
Scorpio release date price like right away. I think.
So you don't think they would show a game at the very beginning? Usually they have
I
something.
think so. Microsoft is such a mystery for this show. Like they have Crackdown and like.
Okay, so
Sea
lights
of
go
Thieves.
down, and then just a spotlight on a pedestal showing the Scorpio.
That'd actually be kind of cool,
Yeah.
actually.
I mean,
think
that's
of it.
their biggest card, right?
Just like sexy close-ups on like some
That's how
motherboards and stuff.
Do you guys remember the 360 reveal?
No.
They did the MTV thing with Elijah Wood, and they had it like under a curtain, and Elijah Wood Spyro himself. That's right, and his buddy Gary Oldman was there with him.
Okay, so it's,
And he pulled off a curtain to reveal like the Xbox 360, and that's how they started it. And then they showed like Perfect Dark. It was like an MTV TV. It was like on TV. It wasn't at E3 or anything.
Here's my prediction: Crackdown 3
To
opens just ton of insane chaos. Forget all the processing
Buildings
taking place in the
toppling.
cloud. Yeah, right after
Recalling September 11th.
sure all
Two
that stuff,
buildings crashed.
and then cutting right to the stage saying this was running on Scorpio.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Rip off the blanket, show it, and then close on Halo tease.
I was going to say they close on Crackdown. Because didn't they say Halo was not going to be there?
Yeah,
Well,
Halo.
Well,
Some-
didn't we say like some form of it, maybe some cryptic tease, but
Yeah.
outside of that, what else would it be?
They don't
Also,
have a lot.
I'm going on a limb and saying some sort of Age of Empires announcement.
Oh.
That Twitter account's been very active for the last 4 months. There's got to be
Scale-
something going on.
Scalebound 2 announced.
no.
Skip right to the sequel.
Yeah, they need to resurrect something. They need a property to come back.
Another Tomb Raider.
Or
They're
a
probably bringing back
exclusive.
Phantom
Ooh.
Dust.
Bring back a... Oh, that's good. The
Yeah.
third-party stuff is a good point. Like,
Yeah, I bet they are
over
going to
there.
dish out a lot of cash for those exclusives. That's a great point.
I was thinking this is kind of like pie in the sky, being way too optimistic. This is really what I want more than anything else. I was talking to Reeves yesterday, I think, because Reiner was wearing a chair shirt. It made me think
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe Shadow Complex 2 would be at E3 and be on Microsoft stage. I'm like going in there with like low expectations, but chair's been pretty. They're working on something with J.J. Abrams. We know that,
Spyjinx.
right? Yeah, but they've also like they brought Shadow Complex to PC recently and made a big deal about it, gave it away for free. They've been talking about Shadow Complex a lot themselves lately.
I think it's the Last of Us Part 2 situation, though.
Yeah.
Like, they have Spyjinx to focus on. That they got to get that thing out
Like
the
I
door.
said, that's
whatever it
me.
is.
That's more what I want than
Sure.
what I really expect.
I
to
also
be
said this the other day. I was like, if I were Microsoft, I'd be like, well, Nintendo's not going to make Metroid. Let's just make Metroid, but we'll call it Metroid. And just like
Metroid.
it'll be like a man bounty hunter, and he's like fighting these aliens.
And this is why you come to Game Informer. It's this kind of hot analysis like Metroid.
You heard it here
super
first.
duper Metroid. Super
Lord.
duper Metroid.
Ultra Metroid.
Nintendo.
Okay.
A lot of theories.
Just all Odyssey.
I think it's
think it's,
Odyssey, Rabbids. What else we
Anything,
got?
you think they'll have any reveals?
Great
Yes.
question.
Yeah. I think they'll have some Switch stuff that we don't expect.
No Smash Brothers port? you
I
guys
think
think?
Smash Brothers port.
Maybe
Yeah.
that. If
Yeah.
okay, if it's a reveal, it's probably a port. I don't think they'll have any like new games like we haven't heard.
No, I think
well,
so.
Rabbids, I think, would technically count as a reveal coming from Ubisoft, right?
Yeah.
But outside of that, I don't think we're seeing retro. I don't think we're seeing next levels, next game.
Retros, they're due, man. Like,
What
Tropical
else
Freeze
does
is
Nintendo have for the
2014.
next couple years? If they shoot everything off this year, I think they need to save some of those. I mean, this year we're getting a Mario and a Zelda. You have to
Yeah.
hold on to whatever you have for the drought coming up, right?
Yeah.
That is crazy to think. Like, I wonder when the last year that we had Zelda and Mario, like big Mario, out in the same
Core,
year.
like, yeah. What was Link to the Past within the first year of the Super Nintendo's life, or was that? That's a question. I'm not sure, but
Man,
that could be
that's
it.
way back. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
It really is going back.
I'm
what
really excited to see the audience reaction to Rabbids. Like, I'm wondering if it's gonna be like the Halo Wars reaction that they had at the game show, where that came on and no one like clapped or anything. It was just dead silence. Like, we're waiting for the next thing.
Again, I'm a champion for that game.
They
Sight
might-
unseen, I think it's going to be better than it
They
They
be.
might show it off, and it might be like, you know what, this isn't as bad as it sounded.
I think that's
fun-
exactly
actually
what
fun
it is.
I
party
hope
game,
that-
probably.
That would be great if they did that.
Yeah.
Should we talk about our overall plans for E3?
Yes.
Let's do
Sure.
it. So we talked about it a couple weeks ago on the show, the idea of spamming your guys' feed, audio listeners specifically, with a bunch of Game Informer podcasts. So that is what we're going to be doing. In theory, tech permitting, it'll be great. So in theory, we're going to be for sure streaming out starting at 7:30 Pacific on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. On Monday, we're going to try and do like a big press conference recap. That one will be starting later, 9:30 Pacific. So if you want to watch the Game Informer show live from our wonderful hotel room suite, you can do that. Otherwise, we'll be archiving that on YouTube. And then also making the audio version available as quickly as possible so you won't be too far behind. So it's going to be like editors coming in every night to kind of recap what they saw, the coolest, behind closed doors demos, stuff like that. And then groups of game developers every night. Every night's going to be good. I'm excited for Tuesday night. I think we have some good guests. And from there, it only gets better. So it should be a lot of fun. It's going to be a little bit loosey-goosey. It'll be technically only the second time we've done the Game Informer show live. And not that we're editing this thing too much. Like a couple of Kyle's bad jokes this episode we cut out. But
Like this one.
great. But it's going to be a little bit sillier, a little bit more loose. So I hope you're ready for a lot of Game Informer content next week. It should be fun.
And then for all the press conferences, we'll
Yes.
be commentating those as well. Like, I think Javy will be on some of those.
Yeah,
right?
JV, me, and Dan. Dan Tack and the Jeffs will be handling
Yeah,
that.
so they'll be back in Minneapolis. So if you want to watch the press conference along with those guys, tune in at those times. We'll have a story on the site saying when those are all happening, but it should be fun. And then Leo Vader, new video guy, will be back here streaming those. It should be a great time. Thank you so much for watching this excerpt from the Game Informer Show podcast. You can subscribe to the audio version and listen to new episodes airing every Thursday. We cover big games on the horizon, games that we've just reviewed. We have long-form developer interviews, a lot of fun stuff. So check it out every Thursday.